Hi guys, what's up? So today's video is baits of the month. The month is September, a little bit of a weird time, and I don't want to overwhelm you guys with too much information, so I'm just going to get right into it, but also give you guys some context. And let's go ahead and get started on what the bass are eating. So for starters, right now, you've seen, if you've been at your local lake, you've probably seen some shad. And you also, if you've been fishing for some years, you know that during the fall, you have that crawdad that just transitions over, right? So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. For the shad, during this time of year, especially the fall is what we call it here in Oklahoma, because it may or may not stick, is bait fish are actually just surfacing. They're at that 3-foot range. They're enjoying the weather as much as we are. And with that said, they really try to go shallow. They really try to go to those transition areas from really shallow to really deep. So those steep areas. And it's just really unpredictable. These fish have seen so many baits. It's almost the end of the year. They've seen everything from a worm. They've seen everything from a demiki. They've seen jigs. They've seen everything. The only thing that you have in control of is what you have that the market no longer produces, what's new in the market, and then what colors you think they haven't seen. And every body of water is different, right? So I want to start off with this this lipless here. So this lipless here is actually really special to me because I have 3 of them in different colors. And not only that, but where I purchased them from a yard sale a few years back when I was in college, and I never knew anything about it until I just got on a bite, and I was super excited. I wanted another one just in case it broke off, and I come to find out that they don't make these anymore. This is the Clack and Wrap 08, and with that said, it has a lot of rattle, and you could hear that. And as well as, because they don't make them anymore, it's kind of like one of those baits that no longer exists, so you kind of have a hidden gem, basically. And to me, I'm like, that's what I want, especially at my lakes. If they've seen everything, I want something that they haven't seen, and that's kind of what amps me up. So the lipless, aside from it being multiple colors that I have in my arsenal, you can also let this thing just drop in those steep transitions where it becomes flat. And anytime there's grass there, you just yank it out and rip that grass out. The fall is what these bass are looking for. It looks like a fish that's just dying, as well as the rip and that rattle. So these fish are definitely currently in their chasing stage, you could say. And that's been my luck here. It's just this lipless. So we'll go ahead and leave that there. Move on to the next one. Next one is a crankbait, and not just any crankbait. Really, like I said, these schools of shad, which is what they're eating, are bait balls, and for the most part that I've seen, they're in that like shallower side of things of the water column. So I go with a smaller bill, and an even different scenario. Everybody has crankbaits, including yourself, so you probably have this exact one, this exact color. This is the Rapala. This is the Deep Tiny. The only difference between this crankbait and the regular crankbait is the thinness of it. Reason for that is because you have a much tighter wiggle. This is considered a finesse crankbait. So that's why I have this guy tied on, and I have different colors as well, but I definitely want to emphasize the size difference. And with today's technology, they have even smaller ones. If you can get your hands on those and not break the bank, you're golden. I actually recently just lost one of my favorite crankbaits that also in this category no longer exists unless you buy used, and it was a killer. And I actually had probably like a 6-pounder hooked up, and it's just a whole story. But crankbait, do something different, whether that's the finesse, whether that's the color. And you might throw this on your everyday base at your lake. I'm saying if your lake, if they go with this, go with something completely different. Just change it up a little bit, and you'll notice the differences in bites. Next thing is this beautiful big swim bait. It still matches a hatch as to what they're eating, regards of species, but size different, it makes a difference. These fish are chasing, so even if you don't get a bite, you'll definitely have followers when it comes to this. That tail just kicking left, right, creates that distortion in the water, and these fish are interested. So don't be afraid to throw something this big. That's also why I bring it up, is some people probably don't throw it. They don't have the confidence to go too big, so they stick with the regular size. And you can be the first one that throws something this big. And if you are, and they eat it, I mean, you're gonna have a great day. So don't be afraid to do that. Have fun with it. The next thing is the opposite side of the spectrum. Still the same thing, it's bait, but it's really small, really finesse style like. This is a handmade chatterbait that I bought, and it's been great to me. I just partnered it up with this really small finesse style shad, and it has done work. These fish have seen everything, so I'm telling you, go out there, try something different, something small, something big, something loud, something quiet, and you'll see the difference. You'll figure out what they're going for, what they have seen, and what they're not spooked about yet, and you'll love yourself for it. So opposite side of the spectrum, size wise. Going into the fun stuff, I gotta log off here soon, but we're gonna go ahead and cover this real quick. It's the top water. This is the Mayer, great material. I love the material. You partner it up with one of those hooks that has that weight in the center, and you just throw this in the grass. And this worked for me in the summers because everybody was throwing a frog, and I think these fish eventually got out of that bite, and they were just like, I want top water, but not a frog. So this was the next best thing. And I noticed I smashed them in the summer, and I just kept on with this, especially with what they're eating today. Change up the colors, you'll be great. And in partner with that, you also have this one with treble hooks. It is a walking bait, but it is a finesse style. That's why it's on a spinning rod. Really tiny. But I actually went to a new lake recently, probably 2 videos ago, and they just inhaled this thing. So I know I made the right change up, and I know it was the right call. And the way I kind of came upon this bait, I just went to my local bait shop and said, hey, give me something that is new or isn't selling out. It's too expensive, and I just want to do something different. And that's exactly how this came to be. So let me be right back. I gotta go cover some stuff, and we'll continue forward. All right, I am back. Got really toasty with that sun coming in and hitting my back. Went ahead and changed to this REI long sleeve. I just finished covering shad, bait balls, all that good stuff. So now let's go ahead and jump into the opposite end. So the other food staple during the fall is the crawdads. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but red is usually a killer bait during this time because it imitates a crawdad. And with that said, we don't know exactly when that kicks off. Maybe you do at your lake, maybe you have a history, but you definitely want to just have crawdad imitators tied on in case it does kick on that day, that morning, that 2 days ago, whatever, and they're just on fire with that bite. Like, it's just a fun killer bite to have, and you definitely don't want to miss it. So with that said, I want to start off with this crankbait. It's a much wider body. It's a lot of deflection, a lot of kick to it, and also the bill is much bigger because ideally with a crawdad, the difference between the two is that you really want to hit those rocks. You really want, I've never seen a crawdad just at 4 feet suspended like a bait. So with a crawdad, you want to hit that contact, you want to hit the ground, stick to it, and make some noise. And you could also go with a smaller bill if you're going for a 3 foot, whatever. But I'm saying in general, I like to go with a bigger bill, especially. This is an 8 foot. This is a 10 foot. This is a 10 foot. And if I'm fishing 8 foot, 6 foot, this is my comfort zone here. There's another color here, same thing. There's green ones, red ones, orange ones, this two-tone one. It's just a matter of what's in your lake. So I'm not gonna go too much further past that. You can go with wobble heads, you can go with shaky heads, you can go with anything that is dragon related. And that brings me to the old reliable jig. Obviously this is red and brown like the crawdads, but if they're not necessarily on that bite, or if you don't have a red and brown one, it doesn't really make or break the bank at this point. It's just more along what you're doing with the bait. If it's dragging and it's close enough and these legs are just kicking and it just looks like one, even though it's the black and blue, like that's money still. When it comes to crawdads, you definitely want to have ground contact and you want to try to imitate the hatch as close as possible. So I honestly think that's it. So just to kind of summarize it, we have bait, shad, and obviously shad-like, so there's a variety of colors that imitate the shad. So you can find them suspended shallow in those channels and the mouth of the channels, and you want to go with some top water, some fast, some loud, which is what I capture here. Fast, loud, top water, big, loud. That tail has a lot of kick, and that's what you want, that distortion, that loud, that obviously I'm here, And then on the opposite side, you have the crawdads. Have tree, rocks. I did miss a bait, which is a Texas rig. You can never go wrong with a Texas rig. And an example here, if you take off this trailer, which is an adrenaline bug from X Zone, it's a great trailer. It has that kick that you want. And as well as I said, rocks. You want to do fast, ground, loud. There's a lot of rattle to these. And also with that big bill, you're just hitting those rocks. You're staying on the ground. As far as what else to throw for Texas rigs, I don't want to go into too much detail with that. I think you guys know my song that I play every time, and that is the tube for me. Adrenaline bug, the new baits. Just go out there and ask your local tackle man and say, hey, what do you have? What's new? What's on the market? You could also go on different YouTube channels. You can also just Tackle Warehouse. Like, they just have a lot of resources nowadays that can help aid you as to what's new, or maybe what's old and what's not being used as much. At the end of the day, these fish train and adapt to certain baits. So if you can change it up, whether it's with something really new or something really old school, and they just haven't seen it, like, that bite in general is magical. And I don't want you guys to miss out on that. But either way, it is fall. The leaves are turning from green to orange. It's a beautiful time of year. The weather feels great. Deer season is about to start here, and you just can't lose going out in nature and having a great time. So go out there, have fun, get on that bite. They are munching right now. This is your time to go get that confidence. And overall, hopefully you guys enjoy this type of video. In the background, we have a new Toyota to us, and I'm excited to bring that into some of the videos and the journey that we want to have. So overall though, like, subscribe, follow, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff, and just support the channel. And hopefully you guys found all this information insightful. So see ya.